What we find over here is that this tussle between the Santal and the Santal is quite evident. Between Santal and Santals. Who are these? These are the people who are actually continuing the revolution. But there is this divide, there is this breakup within them where a real Santal she says that a real Santal would never betray a Santal or the Santal rebellion, clear, or the Santal cause. But here there are people who have left this place, possibly giving information. So Somai and Budna, they are half-breeds. They are half-breeds of what? They were product or the illegal child of American soldiers who have left their impact, who have left them as left the Santal women pregnant, and the result is Somai and Budna and several others who are actually betraying the Santal cause. Okay, so what we find here is that in way it is for a community to protest against anything, the chiefest thing that is needed is the unity of that community. Once you break that unity, there is this oldest policy in the book, that is the divide and rule policy. Okay, and that is what is being implanted over here, that is what is being used over here. The Santals are turning against Santals because of the benefits that they are allured by, right? So what we find here is that Draupadi is considered, or Draupadi herself is considering herself, she is considering herself as a purebred, and those people like Somai and Budna are half-breeds, and because of that they are betraying the Santal cause. So Mahasweta Devi describes the situation like this, that Draupadi hears footsteps at her back. The steps keep a distance, rice in her belt, tobacco leaves tucked in her waist. Arijit, Malini, Shamu, Mantu, none of them smokes or even drinks tea. Tobacco leaves and limestone powder, best medicine for scorpion bite. Nothing must be given away. So what we find here is that the troublesome life that they lead, they do not have any medication, they do not have any facility to save themselves from scorpion bite. So they are neither smokers nor drinkers of tea, but everything, this tobacco leaves and limestone powder, that is chun. Okay, all these adversities of nature are there, but they also find ways through which they can get out of that situation. Okay, what we find over here, there is this binary which is being created over here. These people are relegated to the margins. They do not have any kind of facility for themselves. They do not have medicine, they do not have water, they do not have proper living conditions, right? Whereas the people, they are asking for that, right? They need that. Whereas the army which has been brought down over here to tackle these people, tackle these tribal people, are getting all those things. They are getting water, they are getting tea, they are getting smoke, they are getting what can you say, medicine, medical treatment and what not. So what we find here is that if you would have given this, if the government had given all these facilities to the tribals or the tribal belt, then this rebellion would not have happened, right? So this is the binary that has been created. This is the condition which is been presented in these situations. So what we find here is that for them, all these things are not for amusement or not for entertainment or for relaxing. Even the tobacco leaves which are used for smoking, for them it is used for scorpion bite. Okay, so ওই যে ফ্রেজটা দেখ, নাথিং মাস্ট বি গিভেন অ্যাওয়ে, কোনো কিছুই দিয়ে দেওয়া যায় না, বিকজ এভরিথিং within nature is important to them for their survival. Dobdi turned left. This way is the camp. 2 miles. This is not the way to the forest. তাহলে কি, সে তো ক্যাম্পে যাওয়ার কথা না, রাইট? সে তো ক্যাম্পে যাবে না কখনোই, কিন্তু সে বাদিকেই নিল, সে ক্যাম্পের দিকেই যাচ্ছে। ক্যাম্প ইজ of the army, right? This is not the way for the forest or way to the forest, right? But Dobdi will not enter the forest with a cop at her back. She knows that the cops are following her. She is suspecting that, she knows that clearly, and that is why she is not willing to go to the forest, right? তার জন্য ক্যাম্পে যাওয়াই তার জন্য ভালো। কেন? কারণ হচ্ছে সে যদি ফরেস্টে যায় তাহলে তাকে ফলো করে এভরিওয়ান উড বি হ্যাশড আউট, রাইট? দেয়ার হাইডিং প্লেস উড বি known to the army. So that's why she is, in a case, what can you say, she is giving up her life, she is giving up her identity in order to save others. I swear by my life, by my life Dulna, by my life, nothing must be told. So what we find here is that she is still holding to the oath that she would never give away any information which would actually hamper the rebellion. Okay, so দেখ এখানটা কি বলছে, বাই মাই লাইফ দুলনা, বাই মাই লাইফ। সো দুটো লাইফের কথা এখানটা বলা হচ্ছে, একটা হচ্ছে তার লাভ, তার হাজব্যান্ড, তার কথা। Two lives are being told over here. Number one is what can you say, the love that she had for Dulna, the love for her husband, and her own life. Okay, সেইটার উপর সে swear করেছে, she sweared on those two things, that she would never give up, she would never give up any information that would hamper the rebellion. Okay, the footsteps turn left. Dobdi touches her waist. In her plan, the comfort of a half moon. So what we find here is that half moon কাকে বলছে, half moon বলতে হচ্ছে তোর ওই কাস্তেটার কথা বলছে, ঠিক আছে? half moon is referred to the scythe. Okay, so it shows that a baby scythe that is present, and she is saying that the footsteps that she is following is not just about giving herself away. Okay, she is holding a baby scythe in her waist, and that is her weapon. Okay, that is actually a weapon of the farmers, right, or the harvesters. But what we find here is that that has become a symbol of rebellion. Okay, what we find here is that she is a rebellious personality, she is a rebellious person, and she is in a way not giving herself up, or her cause, or her members of that rebellion. Okay, the smith at Jharkhani are fine artisans. Such an age will put on it upi 100 dukhirams. A upi is a portion, and 100 dukhirams. So what we find here is that a person is very much inclined to fight alone. Okay, she knows what is the power, she knows what is the power of this scythe is. Okay, she is there, or সাইডগুলোর ধার খুব বেশি হয়, দেখবি যখন ধান কাটা হয় তখন কি এক কোপেই হচ্ছে ধানগুলো কেটে ফেলা হয়, রাইট? The sharpness of the sides are very high, and what we find here is that tool, that instrument, that weapon, that instrument of harvesting is being used to harvest lives. Okay, harvest people who betray, like Dukhirams. Okay, and what we follow or what we get over here is that this rebellious cause can be given a symbol, and that symbol may be the scythe. Okay, thank God Draupadi is not a gentleman. Actually, perhaps they have understood scythe, hatchet and knife best. Okay, so যারা হচ্ছে জেন্টলম্যান তাদের কাছে হচ্ছে এটা আননোন ছিল যে কিরকম ইউজ বা কিছু, কিন্তু তারাও এখন বুঝতে পেরে গেছে। দে ডু দেয়ার ওয়ার্ক ইন সাইলেন্স। এই সাইটগুলো তার সাইলেন্সে যে সমস্ত কাজ করা সেই কাজগুলো করে দিতে পারে। হঠাৎ করে একটা কোপ মেরে দিল, হয়ে গেল। ওকে, সিঙ্গেল stroke of a scythe would do work in silence which the other person would not be able to understand. Okay, the lights of the camp at a distance. Why is Draupadi going this way? Stop a bit. It turns again. I can tell where I am if I wander all night with my eyes shut. I won't go in the forest. I won't lose him that way. I won't outrun him. You fucking jackal of a crop, deadly afraid of death. You can't run around the forest. I would run you out of breath, throw you in a ditch and finish you off. So what she is believing in, what she believes in, she knows this place quite clearly. She can trade in the night, she can move in the night even with her eyes closed. Okay, but what she is actually doing, why she is actually doing this, she is moving away from her forest because she does not want to give away the information, right? What we find here is that she is quite adamant about her cause, and she is not just adamant, she is dedicated to her cause, and that is seen over here. The emancipation of a woman, the power of a woman is being reflected over here, where she says that she can do anything. She can do anything to break down all these structure which has been set up against them. Okay, she can outrun them and make them fall in a ditch and finish them off. She can actually kill them off. But at this very moment she is still not doing that. Okay, not a word must be said. Draupadi has seen the new camp. She has sat in a bus station past the time of delay, smoked a bidi, and found out how many police convoys had arrived, how many radio vans, squash 4 onions, 7 papers, 50 a straightforward account. This information can now be passed on. So the main purpose or the main work that Draupadi and Dulna did was to pass on information. So they were the informers, right? So she had all this information about the new camp. She has information about the convoys of police, the number of vans that arrived, and what we find here is that she cannot now be passed on. This information cannot now be passed on because she is over here. They will understand Draupadi Machen has been countered. Then they will run. Arijit's voice. If anyone is caught, the others must catch the timing and change their hideout. So that is their plans. That are their plans. Okay, so if someone does not return on time, they will easily understand that that person might have been killed, and by that they should change their hideout. If the possibility is there, that person might have revealed the secret, or the police might guess that if this person, if this tribe is found out over here, that others are also here, so they should change their hideout. Whatever. If Comrade Dobdi arrives late, we will not remain. There will be a sign of where we have gone. No comrade will let the others be destroyed for her own sake. বুঝলি একই কথা বলছে. The same thing is being repeated again and again. Why this is being repeated? The repetition is such, the repetition is being because there is she wants to portray the bonding, she wants to portray the working of the tribal community, how they functioned, and she also wanted to portray how the bonhomie is, how there is this close association, how they actually functioned. Okay. Dobdi Lai Arijit's voice, the gargle of water, the direction of the next hideout will be indicated by the tip of the wooden arrow under the stone. Dobdi likes and understands this. Dulna died, but let me tell you, he did not lose anyone else's life. Because this was not in our hands to begin with, one was countered for the other's trouble. Now, a much harsher rule, easy and clean. Dobdi returns good, does not return bad, change hideout. The clue will be such that the opposition won't see it, won't understand, even they do. So, তাদের সাইন কি? তাদের সাইন হচ্ছে যে তারা হচ্ছে যেদিকে যাবে, যদি সময় মতো আসতে পারে, if the person who is late comes even after that, she would be able to understand where they have gone. How they would understand? There would be a wooden arrowhead, okay, under the stone, indicating the direction. Okay, indicating the direction by the tip of that wooden arrowhead. Okay, anyone who is not associated with this would not be able to understand this. Okay, but a person who is returning would understand. If a person is returning late, he or she would understand. She knows that Dulna has died, but he had not given out any information. Okay, footsteps at her back. So what we find here is that the idea of footstep, or the image of the footsteps, are being used in order to continuously pour out this sense of continuously following tendency, and it is menacing. কাউকে যদি সবসময় ফলো করতে থাকা হয়, বা সেই ইমেজটা যদি পোর্ট্রে করা হয়, তাহলে সেটা একটু ভয়ানক, একটু আতঙ্ক দেওয়ার জিনিসই বটে, রাইট? And that is what is being presented over here, যে শুধু ফুটস্টেপসটা শুধু ফলো করছে দোলনাকে, শুধু সেটা না, ঠিক আছে, তাকে কি ফলো করছে হচ্ছে তাকেও, যে হচ্ছে এখানটায় এক্সিস্ট করছে, বা যে হচ্ছে রেবেল করছে, তাকেও হচ্ছে ফলো করছে। ওকে, তাহলে ফুটস্টেপসটা হচ্ছে অ্যাকচুয়ালি একটা মেনাসিং সাইন অফ বিং ফলোড। ওকে, সবসময় যেন ফলো করা হচ্ছে এখানটায়, সেই ফলো করার যে টেন্ডেন্সিটা, সেটা সবসময় যে এক্সিস্ট করছে কীরকমভাবে এক্সিস্ট করছে, তোর এই যে হোল লাইফ, পুরো লাইফটাকে যে কে ফলো করে যাচ্ছে, গভর্নমেন্ট অফিসিয়ালস। এখানটাও সেরকম, ঠিক আছে। শুধু দোবদি যে ফলোড হয় সেটা শুধু তাই না, যে রেবেল করবে সেই হচ্ছে ফলোড হবে। ক্লিয়ার? 3.5 miles of land and rocky ground are the best way to enter the forest. Draupadi has left that way behind. So she has no intention of going back to the forest at this moment after being followed. Okay, সে কি করছে, সে হচ্ছে অন্যদিকের রাস্তাটা চুজ করছে। Draupadi has left that way behind, that path which goes to the forest. A little level ground ahead. Okay, then rocks again. The army could not have struck camp on such a rocky terrain. But what we find, they cannot live there. They are not able to set up camp in that rocky terrain. But these tribals are the people who have lived in these places. Right? The area is quite enough. It is like a maze. Every hump looks like every other. That's fine. Draupadi will lead the corps to the burning ghat. Pratipava of Saranda had been sacrificed in the name of Kali of the burning ghats. Apprehend. A lump of rock stands up. Another, yet another. The elderly Senanayak was at once triumphant and despondent. If you want to destroy the enemy, become one. So, same old saying. The principle of Senanayak, he had done so. He had done all these things. He had done all these things for so long time that she is in such a situation where she could be destroyed by the enemy. She could be destroyed by the people who are within this garb of, what can you say, uniform. Okay, he still can. Therefore, he is elated. Since he has kept up with the literature, he has read First Blood and seen approval of this thought and work. Okay, so what we find here is that Draupadi is in the camp. Draupadi is within the vicinity of the camp, and what we find that Draupadi could not trick him. That is, she could not trick Senanayak. Okay, Draupadi could not trick him. He is happy about that. And what we find here is that a person who is in this business of killing or destroying the rebellion is happy to be in such a place. Okay, and what we find here is them he would be happy to get what he was wanting. Okay, two sorts of reason that we find over here is that he has actually got hold of Draupadi. Okay, and now what we find, he is in such a situation where he could easily destroy everything. 6 years ago, he published an article about information storage in brain cells. He demonstrated in that piece that he supported this struggle from the point of view of the field hands. Draupadi is a field hand, veteran fighter, search and destroy. Draupadi Majan is about to be apprehended, will be destroyed, regret, halt. So what we find here is that there is this kind of tussle within them. Okay, there is this kind of tussle between them, where, or between Senanayak himself, where at one place he is wanting to destroy the rebellion on the commands of the government, but at the same time he is such a person who is belonging or who is believing in the field hands cause. Okay, that is the struggle of the farmers, actual farmers. But what we find here is that there is this kind of hypocrisy which actually exists, and this hypocrisy may be because of the job he is in, ওকে, তার পেট চালানোর জন্যে, বিকজ অফ দ্য স্যালারি দ্যাট হি গেটস অ্যান্ড বিকজ হি হ্যাজ টু রান হিজ ফ্যামিলি অর হোয়াট এভার, he is becoming hypocritic. Or maybe that garb of intellectualism, of understanding their cause and everything, that might be a garb or this polished stance that he puts up. Okay, Dobdi stops short, the steps behind some, what can you say, to the front. So the thing that was following him, following her, not the thing, those were actually men, right? But the thing here refers to the thing that I said just now. The thing that was following her was the power. Okay, the power was actually following her, and now it is coming in front. Okay, under Dobdi's ribs a canal dam breaks. No hope. Surya Sau's brother, Ratani Sau, the two lumps of rock come forward. Shomai and Budna, they had not escaped by train. Arijit's voice, just as you must know when you have won, you must also acknowledge defeat and start the activities of the next stage. Now Dobdi spreads her arms, raises her face to the sky, turns towards the forest, and ululates with the force of her entire being. Once, twice, thrice. At the third buzz the birds in the trees and the outskirts of the forest wake and flap their wings. The echo of the call travels far. বুঝতে পারলি কি হলো? তাহলে সময় আর বুধনা যেটা, সে তারা ধরা পড়ে গেছে, তারা পালিয়ে যায়নি, অ্যাকচুয়ালি তারাই ছিল এখানটায়, রাইট? অ্যান্ড হোয়াট উই ফাইন্ড হিয়ার ইজ দ্যাট এই যে রতনী সাহু বা সুজা সাহুস ব্রাদার বা আরও যারা ছিল, এই পিছন থেকে দুটো লাম্প যারা রক, তারা হচ্ছে পিছন থেকে চলে আসছে, তারা অ্যাকচুয়ালি কে? সময় আর বুধনা। তাহলে অ্যাকচুয়ালি সিচুয়েশনটা কি হলো? আজকে যেটা দিয়ে শুরু করেছিলাম সেটা কি? সেটা হচ্ছে দ্য টাসল উইদিন দ্য কমিউনিটি, যারা হচ্ছে অ্যাকচুয়ালি হচ্ছে তাকে হার্ম করে, ঠিক আছে? এখন তার অবস্থা কি? দব্দির অবস্থা হচ্ছে শি ইজ বিং রেপড। ওকে, নাও দব্দি স্প্রেডস হার আর্মস, রেইজেস হার ফেস টু দ্য স্কাই। পুরো এই ডেসক্রিপশনটা হচ্ছে তার রেপের ডেসক্রিপশন। শুধু একবার না, তার বারবার করে হচ্ছে, ওয়ান্স, টুয়াইস, থ্রাইস। ক্লিয়ার? Her entire being is being forced, her entire being is being destroyed, and her echo is traveling throughout the walls. Okay, so what we find over here is that a person who is actually fighting to exist, fighting to save her own community, is being destroyed at this very moment. She is facing in the defeat. And what we find over here, the defeat is such where we get to see the voice of his, what can you say, the commander is being presented. Right? If you face any kind of defeat, if you face any kind of winning, you will also face defeat. You should acknowledge defeat, and today it is the time for her to face defeat, and today she should accept what is being presented, what is happening over here. Okay, let's end it here today.